Imagine it. It's June. You're in New England, expecting warmth and green fields. Instead, you wake up to a world smothered in snow. Birds fall frozen from the sky. The air is so cold you can see your breath indoors. All across the northern hemisphere, a strange, dry fog hangs in the air, turning the sun a blood-red color at noon, before it vanishes into a perpetual twilight. This wasn't a freak weather event. This was a global catastrophe. For years, no one knew why it was happening. They called it the poverty year. They called it 1800 and froze to death. But history remembers it. It was the year without a summer. And for a very long time, it was one of the planet's most terrifying unsolved mysteries. The reports from 1816 read like a post-apocalyptic novel. In America, crop after crop failed, leading to starvation. In Ireland, a relentless icy rain fell for 8 straight weeks, triggering a typhus epidemic that would kill tens of thousands. In Switzerland, desperate villagers were seen eating moss and cats. Food riots broke out across Europe as the price of grain skyrocketed. People were terrified. And when people are terrified, they look for answers. Was it a divine punishment or sunspots? Benjamin Franklin, decades earlier, had wondered if volcanic eruptions could cool the climate. But that was just a fringe theory. Most people just assumed the world was ending. A reasonable guess, all things considered. The real culprit, the ground zero for this global disaster, wasn't in the sky. It was on the other side of the planet, on a remote Indonesian island that most of the world had never even heard of. The year before, in 1815, a volcano named Mount Tambora had woken up, and it didn't just erupt. It produced the single most violent, colossal volcanic explosion in all of recorded human history. The blast was 1,000 times more powerful than the eruption at Mount St. Helens. It was so loud it was heard over 1,600 miles away. The mountain literally decapitated itself, shrinking by nearly 5,000 feet. It instantly vaporized an entire kingdom and plunged the surrounding region into total darkness for a week. But the mountain's most devastating weapon wasn't the lava or the blast. It was the ash. Tambora ejected over 100 cubic kilometers of rock, dust, and sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere. This wasn't just a cloud. It was a planetary defense shield in reverse. A thin, invisible veil of sulfate aerosols that wrapped itself around the globe. And its one and only job was to block the sun. And here is where the real relic hunt begins. This is where we connect the dots of this global cold case. The clues weren't just in geological records. They were everywhere. For decades, scientists have drilled deep into the ice of Greenland and Antarctica. These ice cores are like a timeline of our atmosphere. In the layer 41815, they found a massive, unmistakable spike in sulfate deposits. It's Tambora's chemical fingerprint, frozen in time. The clues were also in art. The strangely beautiful, hazy, and vibrant red-orange sunsets that people witnessed were captured by painters like J.M.W. Turner. His dramatic, colorful skies weren't just artistic license. He was painting the chemical aftermath of the eruption. But perhaps the most famous relic from the year without a summer is a monster. Trapped inside by the relentless, gloomy rain at a villa in Switzerland were a group of young, bored English writers. To pass the time, they challenged each other to write a ghost story. One of them, a teenager named Mary Shelley, had a waking nightmare and wrote a story about a scientist who creates a grotesque creature. Without the endless gloom of Tambora's volcanic winter, the world might never have gotten the story of Frankenstein. The year without a summer was a terrifying reminder of how connected our world is. An eruption on a tiny island could starve Europe, change the color of the sky, and inspire one of the most famous novels of all time. It even spurred innovation, as the lack of oats to feed horses led a German inventor to create a new form of transportation, the ancestor of the modern bicycle. It was a riddle that took over a century to solve. A global catastrophe that faded into a historical curiosity. But it stands as a chilling piece of evidence, proving that sometimes the biggest and most world-altering events can begin with a single mountain taking a single violent breath. It's incredible to think that a single volcano could change the course of world history. What do you find more fascinating? The fact that it inspired Frankenstein, or that it led to the invention of the bicycle? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.